Hey there, welcome back to Tuesdays with Joe, where you ask your most burning UX questions and I do my level best to answer them. Today's question comes from Luis, who says, is there a quicker way other than a full-blown UX audit to evaluate an online payments platform? I know user testing is a tempting answer, but I can't do studies with users right now because those will take longer than the 3 weeks I have prior to launch. My managers want to see improvement between now and the time that we go live. Thanks, Luis. Well, here's the thing I need you to understand about a UX audit. I understand why you're feeling like that's not possible, but the truth is that a UX audit can be as shallow or as deep as you need it to be. Okay, there's no one single answer. A lot of you who are watching have heard me say before that with a lot of things, there is no one single answer. There's no right answer. You've probably also heard me say that you have to take what works in terms of process, right? In terms of methods, in terms of best practices, in terms of anything anyone tells you, myself included, right? That you should do UX this way. You take the stuff that works for you in the moment, in context of what you're doing, in context of how much time you have to work with, and you throw out everything else. And you be ruthless about doing that, okay? Do not get attached to process. Don't get attached to dogma. Don't get attached to a UX audit has to cover all these areas, has to look at all these specific things in this specific time frame, and there's no other way to do it. Untrue. Absolutely, unequivocally untrue. I can't emphasize this enough, obviously. Okay, so it could be as long as 2 hours, right? If you have 2 hours over the target and you got to get going, you make the most of those 2 hours, right? You look at the things that are obvious disconnects, okay? Are the proximity between the labels and the fields appropriate? Sometimes you see, a left-aligned label where the field is 80 miles away from it, and it's hard for the user to go, okay, this field goes with this goes with this goes with this, right? So sometimes it's simple like that. Instead of a left-aligned label, you put the label on top of the field, and everything just goes down in a stair step, right? That's great. Are the labels being used cute? Are they obtuse? Is it clear to the user that their payment is secure? Are you doing something to obstruct the process of purchasing? Okay, for example, are you forcing them to add something to the cart before they can see the price? Immediate distrust. Why aren't you telling me the price? There's a trick here, there's a gimmick. People immediately feel distrust and they abandon. Or are you forcing someone to log in before they can complete their purchase? Think about this. I'm ready to give you my money. I got my hand on my wallet, I got my credit card in this hand, I got my finger on the tablet or the mouse or whatever it is, and I'm ready to buy, I'm ready to give you my money. And you say, nope, wait a minute. Tell me a lot of things about yourself and sign up and give me your email address and fill out all these fields, and then I'll let you buy from me. If you were in a store, what would you do? You would walk out, okay? This is no different. All right, so you're looking for things like that. You wanna know if they have a sense of how many steps are involved in the process, okay? How much of a time investment is this, and where am I in the process? You're comparing it to other things that you've experienced as a consumer, right? We all buy things, and you say, does any of this run counter to what I expected? So you're looking for obvious things, and you're looking for obvious things that are tied to conversion, people making a sale. In your case, if you've got 3 weeks, every single thing that you look at should be tied to what stops people from spending their money? What stops people from getting through the checkout process and buying? Where do they get stuck? If you have analytics, all right, and most companies do, look at them and figure out where are people dropping off. Because if you sell anything online, I promise you, you have a percentage of people who are dropping off. You want to find out where they're losing the thread, all right? Is it after they get something in the cart, they don't go any further? Is it they get to step 2 in the checkout process and then we never hear from them again? What is it? Are they getting strange errors when they complete the form and there's no validation to tell them what's wrong or how to correct it? And they can't go any further because they don't know what's wrong. So you're looking for things like that, all right? I'll give you a couple quick examples as well of things that typically go wrong in e-commerce processes, and there are 2 big ones. One is a disconnect between the format on the screen of the fields and, for instance, a credit card in your hand, right? One of the places people get hung up, believe it or not, is on the expiration date of the card. If you look at the card, the format is very specific. It's 4 digits, 0116, right? January 2016, or 0119, January 2019. You look at the form, and instead of 4 digits, what you see is a drop-down menu that says January, February, March, April. Instant problem. What's on the card is a number. What's on the screen is a word. The person has to do some level of matching to say, okay, January 1, February is 2, March is 3, and they got to go through that process. No matter how fast or how slowly they do that, and everybody's level of processing is different, you have to remember this, there's still a break. Okay? You've given them a reason to pause, and every single time you give a consumer a reason to pause, you're at risk. You're at risk that they're going to stop what they're doing, they're going to decide it's too much effort, and they're going to bail. Year is no different, right? The year is typically on a card is 2 digits, 19 for 2019. Yet on the form, it wants 4 digits, 2019, 2019. These sound like small things, but I promise you they're not. They're the kinds of things that people get stuck doing. And human nature is once we get stuck, if we have trouble with it for more than a second or two, we just sort of bail out. I don't need that anyway, it's no big deal. All right? This is what happens. Another thing that I see constantly in checkout processes in particular is that there's a lack of differentiation between primary actions and secondary actions. In a multi-step form, for example, you usually, once you get past step 1, you have a previous and a next button. All right? A lot of times what I see is there are 2 buttons, they're the exact same size, they're the exact same shape, they're the exact same color. The only thing differentiating the 2 is the text that says previous and next. Here's the thing, people really don't read. And a lot of times if the visual signals don't help them differentiate between those 2 things, even if the words are different, they can't tell the difference between them. Again, they get stuck. They fixate, they look, they go, what do I hit? Where's the button? It's right there, it says next. But because it looks just like the previous button, the mind gets stuck in a loop. So what you do in that case is next is the primary action, right? You're trying to get them to go forward in the process. So next is a big button, it's bold, it's blue, it's in bold text, and then previous is nothing more than a text hyperlink. At first glance, there is an immediate visual difference between the 2 things. The brain instantly knows, this is what I came here to do. That big blue button calling my name and my attention is what I came here to do. It's simple things like that. Just like at checkout, right? When you say pay or submit or check out, that's your primary action. That button is big and bold and everything else on the screen is less visually important. So it's a lot of little things like this that can trip people up. All right? So if you got 3 weeks, spend 3 weeks looking hard at the things that prevent people from giving you their money. Why? Anything that makes it hard for them to give you their cash, okay? Anything that makes it hard for them to get through the process with confidence, with accuracy, and with some level of efficiency where they feel good about it, all right? I also would encourage you to take a look at Baymard Institute, who does an excellent job with studies and white papers and a tremendous amount of research and articles specifically toward online payment, e-commerce, things like that. They really are excellent, and every article is pretty much worth its weight in gold. So check that out. I wish you luck with your abbreviated UX audit, and I hope you always remember to give good UX.